that, let's get this place filled, for, you said? It's end of month Thanksgiving. This Sunday is end of month Thanksgiving. All right. Okay. So because I'm rounding up Family Matters next Wednesday, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to finish what I started and then take a need for the male, which is, you see the 5 needs for the male and the 5 needs for the female, that are actually basic, major marital needs. All right. And I don't want you to joke with them or take them lightly. They are needs that if they are not handled in a marital relationship or in a home, then that home will not function well. All right, okay, all right, that home will not function well. Now you see, I come up early. That will tell you have to start coming to church on Wednesday early, because once I walk, I just come up to the stage, I preach, and then we, are out of this place. All right, all right. And so what we did on Sunday was to pick a need, for the woman, which is the need for conversation. She wants him to talk to her, all right, which is conversation, all right. I will not go into all. Where we stop is, said I'm going to give you 3 enemies of good conversation. Okay, she needs him to talk to her, conversation. And then 4 friends of good conversation, all right. Then I'm going to start up. All right, so I'm not going to dwell so much, In fact, by the way, how was Sunday? Sunday, come on, let's put our hands together. All right, okay. Remember, your needs is not her needs, and then her needs is not your needs. All right, so if I want her to function, I must give her her needs. All right, and then if you want him to function, all right. The excitement that is in dating and courtship, all right, is what you need to also bring into the marital relationship. I said here, no bachelor will have the attention of any lady if he doesn't give 15 hours of his time weekly to that relationship. All right, what that means is that you need about an hour, 20 minutes daily. Is a dosage. Why? A woman, through affection and conversation, she becomes one with you. It's not necessarily through sex, no. And before she could release her body to anybody, she needs to be one with that person. Clara? Is that Clara? How are you? All right, she needs to be one with that person. All right, and becoming one with the person is true. Also, you can talk a woman into a relationship. All right, because when you begin to talk to her, she picks up whether you actually care. And then, however, in conversation, she becomes bored whenever you begin to have a conversation and it's centered around you. All right, the conversation that feeds the need, a conversation that is centered around her day, what she, all right, okay, it feeds her. And remember, because they talk, I told you that sometimes all you need is just to key them in. Once you just kick it, then you can just be putting the fire, and then she sustains it. All right, without, what is that? All right, without the conversation, then you might not be able to understand. All right, okay. However, later I'm going to deal with it. The last law that I gave, which is a note, is that you have your sphere of interest and your spouse has a sphere of interest. If these do not overlap, we can only grow farther and farther apart. It's very easy for a man and his wife to be apart. And for your information, you can be in one house, but you are differently apart. You can be, am I talking here? Yes. And once, yes, you can completely be apart, all right? Okay, it's called compatibility. Okay, you just don't jive together. All right? And there's nothing to discuss, no conversation. All right? Worse is the coming of the social media. All right? Okay? And so people are just held up into this, and that's okay. So for you to be able to fan the flame of conversation, there has to be a shared, an interest overlap. All right? It is in the overlap of the interest that you could pick things that you can have conversation with. All right? And so you have to that. Okay? So we said the first enemy of good conversation is using conversation, to abuse or punish each other. And we made it categorically clear. If you are angry, it's okay. But don't you ever use words to abuse whether the looks, the attitude, or the things of your husband or your wife. Don't even bring parents inside. Don't conjure words because you want to hit on your wife or you want to hit on your husband. Because words are lethal. They are potent and they cannot be withdrawn. You can say, I am sorry, but it actually goes in. And for a woman, because she has a physical womb, she also has an emotional womb. All right? And if you are not very, very skilled in aborting seeds spoken, all right, before you could recover your house, sometimes one word can make you lose your house. Just one word. All right? So you have to be careful and never. All right? An intelligent, wise man is a person that can bring himself together. Me, myself, and I cooperated. And then speak what you have done to me and how I am feeling. All right? Not just use words and then hit on you. All right? Worse is that when I begin to use what you have already given me, as a result of me trying to know you, and I begin to use it against you. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? I say, are you hearing what I'm talking about? All right. Whenever you verbally punish your spouse, you are actually making a major withdrawal from the love bank. All right. Remember, the affection or the emotional attachment between you and your wife, all right, is only, going to be there when the love bank is increasing. All right. Once it's depleting, all right, okay, all right. Somebody said that words cannot harm me, that sticks and stones can, hurt me, but words cannot. Okay, but that's a wrong statement because words can kill you. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? Words can mar you. Words can actually also make you. All right, you want your wife, all right, to flourish. You could speak into. You want her to dry up. All right, okay. So the second enemy of a good conversation, I mentioned, that's where, is number 2, using conversation to force agreement to your way of thinking. All right. You have to understand that when you're dealing with conversation, all right, anybody that you are in a relationship with, they are not wood. They are human beings and they have opinions. All right. It is going to be very wrong that you use, conversation to force an agreement to your way of thinking. All right. While you as a husband or a man, when you're setting your house, you have principles. All right. There are core things that cannot be negotiated. All right. When it comes to raising your home. All right. For example, about church, about coming to church, about your attention to God. There are things that are not negotiable. All right. Those type of things is that I'm not actually looking for your opinion because you have joined with me. This is, and then you have to understand that, okay, your God shall be my God. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? Do you understand? All right. Some of those things you put your leg and foot on. You cannot be that you are in church and your wife decides on her own whether she wants to come or not to come, or your children whether they want to come. No. And any house that is also divided cannot stand. All right. You have to be able to, However, I know that some people that are not the towering kai balai. All right. That's why having courtship, dating is very important. And when you are dating, you begin to see red flags. Don't you ever rationalize things in your dating time, because they are going to be a problem to you once you come into, some things that you can excuse in dating, you cannot excuse them in a marital relationship. And worse, listen to me, it is the little foxes that destroys the vine. Some things that are little, they can become extremely irritating once you begin to dwell together till death do us part. Am I talking here? So there are, okay. So however, when it comes to conversation, an enemy is that when you begin to, stand as if nama and force an agreement to your way of thinking. No, you should, to your wife, also allow her air her own opinion. It is vital. And you should not be angry that she is in there, because there has to be a place of negotiation when you are dealing with the things that are they are not core. Am I talking here? Okay, I can hear you. Okay, and then I should be able to, with wisdom, be able to convince you. Now, listen to me. In this life, there are just very few conversations that are more irritating than those in which someone tries to force his opinion on you. You know what I'm saying? Yes. All right. Some will just keep quiet, but they actually, and that's why I said that a young man will say, well, though I am sitting down, I'm actually in the inside standing up. Because you force your opinion on me. All right. Okay. So there are few conversations, that are extremely irritating. It's extremely irritating when you are being forced, to a particular, okay. And when you meet these kind of people, they seem to be unable to grab the value of your right to make decision. All right. Okay. If you don't respect the decision of your wife, why did you marry her? And then if you as a wife, you don't respect the decision of your husband, why did you marry him? Okay, if you give him the right to be your head, why are you arguing with him? Are you hearing what I'm talking about? Yeah, you intelligently say that your decisions, I love it, I like it, and I'm going to submit to you. Why are you challenging? Why are you fighting? In as much as I know that you as a husband, you should allow, the opinion if it is not actually going to bring the house down or bring hell into your house. So if you want your spouse to understand your feelings, you must express them somehow. All right. Meanwhile, there are ways in which you express. Remember, reasoning has to come before action. All right. You don't express your emotions, by shouting on the man. You can shout on the man because you talk too much and you talk faster than him and he's quiet and you think that you have won. You're losing him. The fact that he refused to talk doesn't mean that you have won. In fact, you have lost, because every time you shut him down, you are making major withdrawal from the love bank. Who you are in his sight is reducing. You're making major withdrawal. Why? And then once you are gone, the Bible says that it is better to climb on a rooftop than to sit in a house with a chattering woman. Am I talking here? Meanwhile, there are men that are sooner come on matter. Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? All right, all right. So when we're dealing with it, all right, you have to understand, in as much as you're going to express your emotion, the accommodation of your feelings should not require your spouse to lose the loss of personal value or judgment. All right, you want him. And then I already said it here, when we're dealing with sex, don't use sex for negotiation as a wife. Don't use because you're angry he did not do anything and now you're not responding to his sex appeal. Don't use that. That's what we call witchcraft. Oh, no. You don't have to be flying in the night. Come on, come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. When I say maye, the Bible, in Hausa we call witchcraft maitako. Okay, so I'm not talking about people that eat people. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about manipulators. Because if you're a manipulator, you're a witch. Okay? And don't use your buttocks to manipulate your husband. Don't use sex to get something from a man. It's demeaning. Am I talking here? Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? If you're not married already, I said it on Sunday. Once you allow sex to come in, then the door for conversation is already closed. And you're going to regret it in marriage. Because now you come to marriage, conversation feeds you. Sex is not necessarily a need for a woman. She might want it, though there are some women that are of exception. All right, conversation is a need for a woman. All right, but because you gave him, before, all he knows is sex, is your body, and sex is a need for him. So now you want him to talk to you. He doesn't know because, and then you can say, all you want is my body. No, that's all you gave me before we got married. Come on, help me here. Come on, put your hands together if you understand. I said, come on, put your hands together. I said, come on, put those hands together. Never force your spouse to agree with you. All right? If I talk and then I leave the door by forcing my spouse to, I've lost her. I need to negotiate with her. I need to hear her opinion. She needs to also know that I value her opinion. However, I need to give her a superior reason to go with what I'm saying. Not being angry. You understand? However, there are some women that sooner the bala in taurin kai. You have not met some? If you cannot come to an agreement, listen to me, learn to respect your husband of your wife's opinion and to get greater understanding of its background. All right, understanding. Somebody say understanding. I said, somebody say understanding. Your house is not Sambisa. All right, and once that becomes an enemy, because I cannot shout with you and then expect me to come and have conversation with you after that heated drama. All right, so, and conversation is a need, for you. Enemy number 3. I need to move fast. I will do it, okay. Dwelling on mistakes, past or present. These are enemies of conversation. Dwelling on mistakes, past or present. You see, this is actually a general rule. Whether you are married or you are not married, most people resent denunciation, criticism, or correction. Most people. How many of you, you're trying to correct your son and or your daughter, or my daughter, because she's the firstborn, she has her own moves and her attitude. If you're trying to talk to her and she doesn't actually like it, she has her own moves. So there was this day, I was like, you didn't do this. Why didn't you do this? Why, she actually didn't like the way I was, she just changed on me. And because, she's close to me, how she reacts affects me. And so I now call her. She said, no, but you didn't ask me. You're just saying you are thinking as if I did that on purpose. You understand? What am I trying to say? Whether you're married or you're not married, whether you're a child or a girl, okay, nobody loves criticism. Nobody loves denunciation. Nobody loves correction. However, if you are without correction, you're going to have a shipwreck in life. All right. Now, if these 3 has to come, all right, then some people say constructive criticism is still criticism. Because you become better, when you have, the wound from a friend must be loved. Am I talking here? All right. Who is more better to show you that you're wrong than your husband or your wife? Why should you be angry because your husband says this is wrong? And then most of with your macho ego, am I talking here? However, the general psychological, anthological, work frame, framework of our, is that nobody loves to be denunciated, criticized, or corrected. All right. Whenever others tells us that we have made a mistake, then there is a problem. You can be friends, and there's once a correction is something, somehow within us begins to rise up. Most often, when we are told that we made a mistake, we try to justify our failure or begin to cast blame somewhere else. Because you want to make sure that even if it is a mistake, might not necessarily be your fault. You're trying to justify because nobody wants it. Am I talking in house of refuge? I say, am I talking in house of refuge? All right. So you have to understand that psychological framework of a person. So once you begin to dwell on mistakes or you begin to criticize, it close the avenue for conversation in your home. All right. How you talk, how you criticize, is okay. However, you have to understand, on the other hand, if someone that we care for comes around and then he explains that he or she, like us to meet a personal need. All right. Because of his tone and how he talks it, okay, you are more willing to begin to go towards his side. Am I talking here? Rather than when I begin to criticize, I'm criticizing. All right, I'll find out that I will get a wrong reaction to you. However, if I come and begin to, begin to allow you, because now I like you, you like me, and then I begin to talk to you, to meet my personal need, you are more likely to respond to me instead of when I come criticizing you on you not doing what I actually want you to give me. Am I talking here? Same thing with the wife. Okay, you cannot not talk to him and you are angry for 2 days and expect a good conversation. And then when you come and then you say that no, you will not get your need. But when you come and then you begin to talk to him and he sees that you are not trying to criticize him, you're not trying to denunciate him, all right, and then you begin to explain what conversation means to you, you're more likely going to get a good response. Come on, put those hands together. I said, come on, put those hands together. Listen to me. As long as we are not criticized, we can willingly accommodate others with some change in our behavior. Once, and you have to be very sensitive. Take away criticism and see response. Take away criticism. Don't criticize her. Don't criticize him. You are going to get a good response. Don't denunciate. As long as we are not criticized. But if he or she demands changes in your behavior, all right, depending on how he comes, most often, the woman takes the generosity and the care for granted. Listen to me. The fact that, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, neighbor, don't criticize. Okay, all right. But the major thing is that don't use conversation to remind each other of past mistakes. If something has happened and is gone, let it go. Once you come and then you bring in and remind the person of past mistake, is an enemy to good conversation. It attacks what you, okay, all right, okay. There's a law of marriage. Okay, and I want you to write it. Caring partners converse in a caring way is a law. Caring partners converse in a caring way. I want us to read the law. 1, 2, go. Caring partners converse. Okay, now let's read it with energy. 1, 2, go. Converse in a caring way. Yeah. Okay. Caring partners don't bring past mistakes. Don't remind people of flaws. All right. 4 friends of good conversation. Friend number 1. I have a lot of things to cover today. If you're going to have great conversation in your marriage, remember what the woman needs is conversation. Your wife is a fuel for her. All right. So the first friend is to develop interest in each other's favorite topic of conversation. Develop interest in each other's, Even when you meet an introverted person, have you ever met somebody that is generally quiet, but somehow at one particular time or moment, you hear his voice, excited about something? I don't know whether you have seen. Yes. The reason why you could hear his voice or excited about something is because something that interests him was on the table. Something that interests him was on the table, Because even most introverted people become talkative when certain subjects are being discussed. No, you're not quiet. Something is not interesting you, that's all. Once a subject interests a person, he becomes a talkative. All right. Some of the challenge with women is that they come home and say that you're quiet. You understand? Yeah. Because he comes alive somewhere. Or they're working together, he meets his old schoolmate, they call old names and then they crack up. All right. Or maybe you're a pastor, you are on top, but when am I talking here? All right, so most often what confuses the woman or the wife is that they notice their quiet husband comes out of their shell when he meets some few good male friends. He begins to talk, gets excited, and then but once you go home, the guy is recluse, gone back, quiet. Why? Why was that happening? The reason is because certain subject of interest to him brought him out. A foolish woman, because, listen to me, that conversation is your fuel. A foolish woman will become angry that you're excited with these people. That's a foolish woman. A wise woman will find out what interests her husband and then ignite it. Because whenever you bring something of interest to a man, he comes alive. He comes out. Is he a politician? Does he love football? Is he a teacher? Does he love instruction? Am I talking here? You have to find out. That's why during dating, one reason of dating is to get to know each other. Don't you ever get married to a man or a woman that you don't know. Don't. Because adjustment in marriage is difficult. Don't see somebody and you just say, whoa, I like you, I'm going to get no. So for a man, once these subjects were introduced, just go to bed, because he will pick it up and start explaining. He will continue to converse on a wide range of, and so when you want to steer to another subject, he will not going to have problem, because already he's alive. Am I talking here? Already you picked, so you have to develop interest in each other's, same thing with her. Once conversation is underway, you can switch to less stimulating subjects and enjoy keeping the end of the conversation on track. No man is quiet. He's quiet because, am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? Am I helping somebody here? Friends number 2, balancing the conversation. Whenever a man feels out talk, he will keep quiet. We came to handle an issue, and how many of you, you're in a house, you go to a house, the man wants to talk. He should just, yes. Or it can be the other way. A friend for a good conversation is your ability to balance the conversation. When somebody is talking, allow them to learn. Let them finish. When the man wants to talk, he might be slow. It might take him 3 to 5 seconds before he starts talking. Don't jump. Allow him. Let him gather himself and then let him talk. Once there's no balance in the conversation, then am I talking here? Some women are not aware that their habit of interrupting their husbands shuts down the flow of conversation. All right. And some women think that their husband, he says, no, don't bother. Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? Okay. So there has to be. All right. Most people that monopolize conversation, this is what they do. They create unwanted habit in their spouses. And that unwanted habit is silence. Because when a man, anytime he wants to talk, you have say 10. He wants to talk, he begins to explain, you pick it up. The next thing is that he will not even talk. You're going to experience what you don't like, silence. Okay. Or you come, you're trying to solve a problem, handle an issue. All right. You allow her, she talk for 30 minutes. So you now say, okay, Kingama, can I talk? Then you now just 1 minute, Bama, how? Kibarni Magana, Yanagod, how? He will not talk again. He will just keep quiet. And whom am I talking here? Okay, so a friend to good conversation is your ability to balance the conversation. If you rant on him for 30 minutes, you're trying to solve a thing. Allow him to also talk for 30 minutes. Even if no, when you were talking, he was quiet. So he wants to talk. Allow him to talk. Allow him. Look at your neighbor. Say, allow him to talk. No, say it with energy. Say, neighbor, allow him or her to talk. If you want a good conversation, be sensitive to each other's right to have the floor. Be sensitive. If not, you're going to create a problem. So if a good friend is balancing, most often it may take your spouse about 2 to 3 seconds to begin a sentence, but allow whatever time is necessary. So like a visiting Kunje and Wafa, Anna Magana. So she is a cool, quiet, and calculated. Saying then she will just take a back in Shikawa. She will just. How many of you know people like that? Come on, help me now. Maybe Kune. How many of you know people like that? Just wave. She will just take. Some women don't even think Kamanyana had a good opinion to say. You will always have a man that will never talk to you. Quiet. Always wait until your spouse completes a thought before commenting on it. Don't jump. He's trying to explain something. Don't. How do you know? No, you don't know. Allow him to complete his thought trail. Babu Nasani, how do you know? No, you don't. Are you a mind reader? Am I talking here? Am I talking here? Yakamamutani are guilty. Look at your neighbor and say, allow him to finish a thought. Okay, so allow her to also finish a thought. Okay. Because sometimes it's the man. No, you don't. Allow it. Always wait until your spouse completes a thought before you comment. Sit quiet, calculated. A sign of maturity is your ability to handle your emotions. Even when he is trying to explain and he's saying things that are not right and is hurting you. Just come. If you cannot hold the trail, get a pen and a paper. Kirubuta, notes Nike, points Nike. You know, a wise man is a man that will allow, I remember, we came to handle an issue, and so the other person, because she talks, guy didn't come in and then he can't talk. But then my wife was being agitated when that other person was spewing what the was spewing. I said, what's wrong with you? Just quiet. A wise person will allow you to say everything and then use what you say and bring you to the floor. Come on, put your hands together. Because if I stop you from talking, I actually have stopped you from revealing who you actually are. So a wise person will allow you reveal. Then I can take it one by one, cancel it. When I finish canceling it, then begin to give logical thought and reasoning based on what you are saying. And I will carry you with the whole of your thinking and bring you down. Make you look stupid. In martial art, you don't attack a force with a force. No. In martial art, when a force comes to you, you direct the force and then bring the person to the ground. For example, rise up. When you come with a force, come with your hand. Okay? You don't attack like this. Okay? But you see, come with your hand. When he comes with your hand, his strength is already there. So I allow him, we go with the hand. Then I trip him down. Talking here. I say, am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? All right. Okay. So you have to be logical, in your, friend number 3. You have to understand, and this is vital, because when you are dating, and even now when you are married, your conversation should center around these 3 things. That enriches a home. It enriches the family. You have to use conversation, number 1, to inform. Because how will I know you? That's why you need conversation. So as you are conversing, don't be angry. No, allow them, inform them about you. Let them have information about you. Where you're coming from. The things that are... When you're having conversation, let the conversation investigate. That's why you are getting ready to get married. You are not having this type of conversation. You only enter into a house and then you're knowing something. That's the problem. Conversation must investigate. Why no answer? And again, I have to investigate. How did you get this? Investigate. Don't allow emotions to cloud only for you to wake up because the healing anointing has come on you in marriage and you're shocked. Am I talking in house of refuge? Okay. And then you have to use conversation to understand. Okay. So once that is deprived, there's a problem. Because as I begin to talk, that's why when conversation is taking place, you are not clueless. Your attention has to be in it. Because now I'm understanding you. Now I'm investigating you. Now I know why you're behaving the way you're behaving. Now you're compatible. You're understanding each other. Am I talking here? I understand you. You understand me. It creates closeness. All right. So in conversation, you have to choose topics. And you as a man, you must be wise. You're not married, you have to be wise. You're married, you have to be wise. You have to choose topics that have a great bearing on the intimacy of your relationship. You must always want to know your wife so that you can treat her better. You must always want to know your husband so that you can serve him better. You must always. And it is in the choice. If you have a superficial relationship, then a problem begins to come in. Because there are some people, even married, but superficial. Relationship akaria, aure akaria, superficial. Once the relationship is superficial, then you begin to have serious problems. You're probably going to avoid conversation that will help you to learn or to adjust to each other. So once a conversation is trying to investigate you, you begin to run away from it. Once it's trying to bring you into, you begin to run away from it. You're thinking they're trying to corner you. No, they're trying to investigate. And it's nothing wrong with investigation between, am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? Then you're trying to run away. Why want to make it about? No, it's a conversation. Oh no, come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. I said, come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. When it no. Okay, so if you have a superficial relationship, is it the boy responding to me? Okay, you're probably going to sometimes avoid some certain conversation. You may discourage investigation and deliberately give each other misinformation. The worst marriage is a marriage that is built on lies. Don't give misinformation. If you are not yet married, don't give misinformation because you will regret it. In marriage, and then he knows that you are a liar, or she knows that you are a liar, there's a problem. Trust is something, a commodity that you don't play with. Am I talking house of refuge? Don't be afraid to understand your spouse. There's nothing wrong. Don't be afraid to hear what you don't actually want to hear. Get to know. All right. Okay. Most often, these weaknesses can lead to a serious and disastrous failure to adjust to each other's needs. Because, you start. If you want a satisfying marriage, you must use some of your conversational time to inform, to investigate, and to understand each other. Sometimes you have to be a good storyteller. Just, take a story from your childhood. That's all. When someone wonder, and then if you are wise, watch, because some of his behavior in adulthood as a result of something that happened in the childhood. Come on, put your hands together. I said, come on, put your hands together. I said, come on, put your hands together. They can go and get them. It's okay. Conversation, try to get, because some of the behaviors in the adulthood are actually okay. And if you're not a good storyteller, because when I begin to speak like that, I'm allowing you into my world. And I'm making you to understand me so that we can be able to work together and have a good marriage. Am I talking here? Because without understanding, marriage can't work. I'm helping somebody here. Come on, put your hands together. Okay, so but if you're always close, you don't want nobody. When you're close, you don't want, if I don't understand you, conversation will be difficult. If you don't allow me, am I talking here? I said, am I talking in house of refuge? Come on, put those hands together if you understand. I said, come on. Inform each other of your personal interests and activities. Those are information. And when you're doing that, do that desiring to bring each other into your sphere of interest. So when I'm talking now, you begin to know what interests me. Inform each other of your personal, okay. And in discussion, try to keep calendars of your activities for the day and plans for your future and share them with each other. It's vital. Don't keep your life secret from your spouse. Let me say it again. Don't keep your life secret from your spouse. Chances are, I don't think it's not everything that is covered. Even the Bible said that things that are covered will be brought open. Okay, so kukuma is better you hear it from me than you hear it somewhere. Am I here? Don't keep your life. Don't hide and be doing something. No, don't. Don't keep your life secret. All right. Investigate each other's personal feelings and attitude without necessarily trying to change each other. I'm just trying to understand you. Now, in this season of in this type of conversation, anytime you ridicule or criticize your spouse's feelings or attitude, then it becomes more difficult for them to express their feelings to you in the future. Because sometimes the fear is, what will you do with the arsenal that I'm allowing into your hands? Okay, so if in the type of fight you pick discussion based on your investigation and then you attack her or him with it, okay, or some certain things in the family, or then you attack, how can I go in there and people just attack. They just use words, and words can destroy your home. I say words can destroy your home. Don't. Instead, encourage each other to be open and vulnerable by being respectful and sensitive. No marriage can ever survive without individuals not becoming vulnerable. In fact, the strength of love is vulnerability. Am I helping somebody? I say, am I helping somebody? Wow. Understand each other's motivation in life, what makes you happy and sad. Learn about each other's hot and cold buttons. But if I know what triggers you, don't use it to create crisis. No, now I know I need to avoid. So you can bring the best out of each other and avoid the worst. Don't, out of information investigation, you know what you say will make her go crazy. Don't use it. The reason you know is so that you avoid it, because you want to protect her emotions and her feelings. Am I talking in house of refuge? You have to avoid it. Friends, number 4, giving each other undivided attention. The worst thing that can happen in any conversation is when a woman is talking to you and you are either watching the TV or you're on your phone and you're totally oblivious of her presence. She wants undivided attention. One of the quickest way for a husband to infuriate a wife is to carry on conversation, while watching football. It's either don't carry the conversation, finish watching the football. Because when she comes to conversation, she wants undivided attention. Am I helping here? All right. She becomes hungry because, he doesn't pay close attention to her. He feels more interested to the football. And so in her mind, she thinks that this is more important. Okay. But however, some of his recreational activities, don't put it at par with you. Don't compare yourself with his mother, with his father, or with his recreational activities. Don't. You are not in that place. Don't. Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? The conversation a woman needs from her husband requires his undivided attention. Remember, we're dealing with what the woman really needs, which is conversation. Requires undivided attention. Look at, let her talk. All right, okay. I have 8 minutes. Let me start. Am I doing well? Come on, put your hands together. Hallelujah. The need for the man that corroborates this one is actually recreational, but that's not what I'm going to do. All right. What I'm going to do today, he needs a good-looking wife. An attractive spouse. Some of the major problems in marriages, is King Huta. And Huta one means you no more take care of yourself. Okay. You might think that this is carnality, but play with it to the detriment of your home. An attractive mate is one of man's 5 most basic marital needs. And watch me. I'm not saying that she must be like a beauty queen. No. That's not what I'm saying. Because some women might not have that equipment. I don't believe that there is any woman that is not attractive. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. However, it is what you do. All right. So, when I'm calling for a wife to be attractive, this is what I mean. I mean that she should take pains to look something like the woman her husband married. There is something that he saw. They say, but now I will know. There's something that he saw when he went to you. There's something that attracted him. There's something that pulled him. All right. Later I'm going to show you, because we are visual. All right. So there has to be pains that must be put in place to look like a woman. Okay. After all, that was the woman that he fell in love with. Remember, we just finished with what the woman needs, which is conversation. Now, I'm supposed to do recreation. Now, I'm doing with, this is a need. Now, does that mean that a woman must stay eternally young? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because even if you eat fruits from China, things are changing. Okay, but listen to me. Getting old provides no excuse for some certain things. All right. I'm not going to be body shaming, and I'm not body shaming. I will just mention, because, some we begin to talk, it begins to, okay, like allowing weight to creep up and up. Okay, like not fixing your hair. Or like dressing like a bag lady. You don't care again about your looks. You just, like that, Okay, now, weight comes in, yeah, but, I'm going to help you with some few informations. Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? Any woman that refuses to handle this area, listen to me, at best, what you're going to have in that kind of a marriage is a marriage that limps along with a husband that is turned off, a husband that is no more interested in sex and usually not even affectionate. Because a man, before he gets aroused, he must like what he sees. Clap your hands, I'm helping you. I'm helping you. Come on, clap. Clap, I'm helping you. If he doesn't like, worse. If you meet the man that is not a believer, his character level is low, doesn't have a standard, he may start looking elsewhere. And sometimes he may get attracted to someone else. And once that begins to happen, you begin to have an affair. Okay. When you look at homes, many men, okay, you see them, some of them, they live with their wives, but find sex and companionship elsewhere. Okay. People that don't have character, they don't care. Okay. People that have character and are guided by the word of God, then what happens is that, they lose interest, and then they just, okay. When a man's wonder, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, that's a need for the man. Anytime you see a man, what is that? Anytime you see a man wandering around, wandering around, you are wise, you've grown, you've seen people wander. Anytime, okay, he has needs that his wife does not meet at home. Some of these needs, tongues don't handle it. Come on, put your hands together. I said, come on, put your hands together. Come on, put your hands. Tongues don't handle it. They are love bank withdrawals. All right. So his need, I have 3 minutes, for an attractive wife, maid, is one of his most basic. Why are my men here? Why are you allowing me alone? If you am I talking your mind? Say who? Why are my guys? Why are my men? Law number 1. Listen to me. This is a law. If you don't look good, he won't look very much. If he's not looking at you, guess what? You might not actually be looking good. It's a law. It's a principle. If you might not be looking very much. You are not looking. If you don't look good, he won't look very much. Why? I said it 2 Sundays or 2 weeks ago. I allow you to know that visual stimulation often arouses a man sexually. So if his wife looks good, he will look at her often. and like what he sees. So how do you know you're still attractive if he keeps looking at you? Am I talking here? Come on, put your hands together. If his wives look bad or even mediocre, listen to me, he won't look at her very much. And even when he does, he'll be turned off. In some cases, even repulsed. So he looks and then he gets angry. Because that's not what I actually saw. And Elena. Come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. When a man looks at his wife and he is disappointed at what he sees, it puts him in a terrible position. Because now, till death do us part. And you see, a man's arousal, say they call it maybe you just go, you that can look straight. No, but there's something that has to handle him. Come on, put your hands together. I said, come on, put those hands together. Okay, when that begins to happen, he starts thinking that the physical attraction he once felt for her has probably gone forever. And that's a nightmare for him. Can I get that again? I'm telling you, it becomes a nightmare to him. And, secondly, he begins to notice that if he doesn't have a moral compass, all right, he begins to, wow. He begins to notice other women. Wow. Don't make him notice. Do your best to maintain. Oh, come on, put those hands together if you understand. When come on, clap. Am I talking here? It's not that he's going to wander into an affair, but he becomes vulnerable. Because men love to see. They love visual. Listen to what the Bible says. Man looks at outward appearance, right? Yeah, looks at. So a wife can guard, against these dangers, okay, by making reasonable effort to stay attractive. We're not saying that you must get it 100, but reasonable effort to stay attractive. And one of the only simple tests, to a wife attractiveness is how much her husband likes to look at her. Another test is that what does he do after he looks at her? You see, when he looks at you and he's running towards, he's coming closer, holding you, something is happening. Am I talking here? I say, am I talking here? Now, listen to me. Don't, as a lady, push this thing off because it's a need for the man. The visual stimulation he received by looking at his attractive wife will often arouse him sexually. Men are visual. So don't get married and then walk anyhow, dress anyhow, whether outside or inside. Don't. Don't. Must you be attractive. Come on. Come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. I said, come on, put those hands together if you understand. Even the most sensitive husband, will occasionally fondle his wife at inappropriate moment if he finds her attractive. Because they like what they see. So, Nika, am I happy? Hallelujah. So most women, they think at home, you're making a major mistake. So you are home saying ibi rap skin saka. You're making a mistake. In fact, it's not outside that you should dress tight. It's in your house. It's in the house that you should dress tight. Kigyara nang kigyara sa abun nang. Baweka wa donki na gida. No, inking kama da zufan kitchen kifitaki wanka da wuri ki hada his gyarashi so that by the time you have to hey, Come on, I'm talking here. I'm making video call with the Gashi. Come on, when you catch the data and I gave him, and I can look about the devil is a liar. Let him like what he sees. Come on, put your eyes here. No, palau. Diana, no, there is so none. But I sent you a no, nafat. You are kitarashi. Come on, help me. My time is up. I will continue this. Come on, come on. Gakenan come on, go. Kinzo the nakao kijida kinzama kaman kaka. I mean the devil is a liar. You gotta look tight and together. Come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. My time is up. You know, listen to me. You can work a hanunku like this based on what I'm saying. It's to your detriment. I'm telling you. Kina nan together yanzu gashi nan kawai kamar wata sohuwa. Ban auri mama ba, na auri babe. Come on, put your hands together. Kina nan kawai gashi nan kawai. Gashi wani iri kawai. There are 5 things that I will discuss next. I will do it maybe next Wednesday. Can another come about? Nika na tema kwa nini? Me asa say agidana ne zaki saka wenzu kaikin da sun koko de. Riga wando haka wa anda jo. Zani ma ba za hada da kyau ba yana haka. Ana no. If he doesn't like it, don't once kina fita haka kina making withdrawal from his love bank. Pow, Eunice na tefita kawai. Eunice na tefita kawai. Zani akriji. Hamata zufa. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. You can come and put your hands together. Only for him, you know, God makes Mr. Yazo, he replaces like house of refuge. You can match kanana the tight. Such a Matana used to be like this. Oh. No, let him never say my wife used to be like this. Kawai say ching abinchi, now you eat like a pig. Fats kote ina, you know, listen to me. Every human being is a machine. Machines, when it takes energy, he has to burn it. So kinzo back he burn it, now she take a cheek, blah 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 blah. If you don't burn it, there's some fats. Say chinya haka kafa ko ina ana tashi ana. No, get yourself together. Come on, put your hands together if you understand what I'm talking about. Nika, am I helping somebody here? Yes. So effort has to go in little. And then that child which say a budget. Sometimes kalonyen de kina ching abinchi ma is irritating. No, kitara kanki, je dining table, eat like a queen that you are. With class, sagacity, be together. Kita the coupling, kita sharuwa, kita samun, kita. But say by kisun zone is as zona akan good place akan table ba. Get there alone, sit together tight. Okay, Katashi, the way you walk, I'm not talking here. Mini skirt in Nankisa Misha Gida. Imbaya so kisa awaje. Don't ever try it outside. Seduce him in the house. But you see, your body has to be together. No. Get together. Oh, God. And the Lord bless you and keep you. Come on. Am I helping somebody here? It's a need. I'm going to deal with it next Wednesday. It's a need. A man wants an attractive spouse. A man wants an attractive spouse. In all animals. That's why in animals like Martin, they are decorated with colors. So it's not supposed to attract in opposite sex. They will raise the color. You understand? Yes. Same thing. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord cause his face to shine upon you. May he give you wisdom to run with the teachings that you are receiving in the name of Jesus. The works of your hands prosper in Jesus' name. Amen.